What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Riff. A huge topic and a topic I get a lot of questions about are treble bleed circuits. I use the treble bleed, which basically, if you don't know what it is, it's basically a resistor capacitor network, and sometimes no resistor needed, that will basically attach on your volume pot, and when you turn the volume down, it will help you retain the highs that normally with normal wiring get bled off, and the guitar can kind of somewhat sound woofy and muddy. Well, the treble bleed capacitor on the volume pot will help retain those highs. Now, a misconception is that it's going to change your tone or give you a Philip Sayce tone or a Stevie Ray Vaughan thing. It's not. The treble bleed isn't working with the volume all the way up. So anyways, that's some of the misconceptions about the treble bleeds, is they're going to change your overall tone. And if you're playing with your volume all the way up, you're not really going to see much of a tone change. I use a treble bleed a lot because I do play with the fuzz face quite a bit, and when I roll off, I get that kind of sparkly sound I want. But what I'm going to do today is show you a little trick and a little tip to testing various value treble bleeds to find one that works for you. All while you're playing your guitar, you can test a bunch of different values and come up with the one that sounds best for you. Because to me, that's the way you would want to do it. You'd want to play and try one and play and try one and go back and forth until you find the one that works. So we'll get into it. I'll show you what we're working with. I'm going to do this on my 1961 Strat. I'm not afraid to dig into it and add stuff to it. You'll see that the pickup assembly and the pickups, the pots, the switch, they're all 100% original. And, I'm going to show you a trick that I do to find the right value for myself. So what you're really looking at is working with this lug that goes to the switch and this lug that goes to the output jack. You're not going to work on the lug that's grounded to the pot itself, because that is your ground. And I'll show you a little thing that I like to do to assist in finding the right treble bleed value for myself. So what I like to do is basically get a jumper wire with two alligator clips at the end of it. You know, we all know what these are. Some people call them roach clips. But anyways, this may have started off like this, a jumper wire, one piece. And I'll split it in the middle, and I'll attach this wire and this wire to each one of those lugs that I showed you. So the lug going to the three-way switch, I'll attach one of these, and the lug going to the input jack positive side off the volume pot, I'll attach this one. So you'll have these two hanging off the wiring. Obviously, if you're not handy with the solder, maybe if you know somebody that is, it's a really quick mod to do. Maybe they can get these soldered up for you. But I would recommend anybody who is going to do guitar mods, try to mod their guitars, to learn a little bit about soldering. And if you're a guy that wants to tinker, a soldering iron and some knowledge on how to solder is a necessity. Okay, what I've just done is basically tin these wires, so I put a little bit of solder on them to adhere to the points a little better. Some people may say I'm doing sacrilege by doing this to a vintage guitar, but it's all I have. And like I said, tone is everything, So basically, when you get done, you're left with one wire on one lug, one wire on the other lug. The third lug there is still grounded. You don't touch that. And now you have two wires. Get the pick guard back on, and I'll show you in a second. Now we just made a test bed for finding a treble bleed, and I'll just hang those two wires that I made right outside of the pick guard, and I can test different values. And I don't have to keep soldering and unsoldering every time I want to try a different capacitor. When you're done, you get something that may look like this. So I'll get the guitar strung up, and I'll run through a couple of capacitors and show you what they do. All right, so we're back. We get the Strat all tuned up. This is my wide open. No treble bleed hooked up. You will get a little bit of buzz noise because those wires are out. So this is usually what I like to work with. I'll do some research and I'll find what's working for other guys by, Googling or looking around. And then I'll order some up. And they're cheap. You can find them for 50 cents. Get them shipped, a little package in the mail. And, you can have some fun. And it allows you to have a lot of fun experimenting. And it doesn't cost much. So I'll show you how to test them. So it's really just a matter of, we'll try any one, we'll pick one. And it's really a matter of putting one clip on one end. And putting one on the other. And now you just play and see what you hear. So what I'll do is I'll try to match my turned up tone with my rolled off tone, just to get it at maybe a little lower volume, like something like this. See, so I can already tell that one's not going to work because it muddies it up way too much. Every guitar is different. Everybody's guitar is different. What works for me or someone else may not work for you, so that's why experimenting with it is probably the best route. So turned up. It's still a little dark to me, I can hear it. Try one more. Now roll off. So with a little bit of testing, I was able to find one that's going to work for my setup, as you can see right there on the last one I tried. I would advise anybody, if you want to mod, keep in mind that all guitars are different. Capacitor values will change for humbuckers, different than they are with single coils. But to just ask somebody what they're using, their setup is entirely different to what you're working with. Unless you've replicated it perfectly and you were able to replicate someone's guitar to the cables to everything like that, but that's still going to change the way things work. And if you were to put a fuzz face in line, it's going to change the way that's going to work. So if you're a fuzz face user, make sure you're thinking about that aspect of it too. And like I said, this is a really fun way to hunt your tone, have fun with your tone. It's good, clean fun. It doesn't cost a lot of money. You just need a little bit of solder, a little bit of time, and some patience. Sit and listen, know your guitar, learn how your guitar reacts, and listen to it react to each one of these treble bleed capacitors. I hope this maybe takes some of the stigma out of treble bleeds as well, because they do not change your tone. They only retain your high end when you're rolling off. Much like tone capacitors. There's not a magic tone capacitor that you're going to put in the guitar and it's going to sound like, one of our heroes. They had their tone for a reason. So, yeah, maybe you can definitely apply this to your tone hunting and figure out what capacitor can work for you. I know there's been a lot of questions about treble bleeds, so maybe this is the best aspect and the best route to go. I showed you a trick on how to get it all done. I found one that works for my setup. I'm going to take this all back apart and wire it all up, and the guitar will be done. It'll be complete, and it's going to work for me. Leave any comments down below. Likes, subscribe, share, whatever you want to do. Anything helps. I really appreciate everybody who has subscribed to the channel, and I appreciate all the positive feedback. There's going to be more artist interviews coming soon, more gear demos. And if you want to see a video of something, just leave it down below. I can do a song lick. I don't want to really sound repetitive with myself, but if there's a certain Stevie song, Jimmy, anything, if I can attack it, I will. I'll try to help everybody as much as I can. I'm all about, helping. This channel is all for fun, and I have a lot of fun doing it. So there you go. There's a look inside how you can make a treble bleed work, and have some fun with it, because I know I did. Peace.